Yo, what's going on, GameLeapers? This is Iggs, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the 10 most broken champions for patch 13.13, and these are based off the changes that have been released recently. We talked about these in our previous videos. So yeah, before we get into the actual champions, guys, if you want to master these champions and play them properly, there's no point picking, well, some of these champions anyway, because they're very mechanically demanding if you don't actually know how to, use those demanding mechanics. So to know how to do just that, head on over to our website and sign up for exclusive access to our library of content. Our challenger players and coaches are uploading daily videos for your benefit. We're going to teach you how to play like a challenger player in terms of micro for any champion you want in the game, and more importantly, the actual macro that comes along with that role that you're picking. So check out those links linked down below in the description and comment section, and let's get into the countdown. So starting in the top lane, first of all, we have Jax. I don't want to talk, bro, for that much longer about this champion. I still kind of can't believe nothing is getting nerfed here for Jax, whether it's like Jax himself with, every 2 auto attacks when he's level 6, it's an empowered attack. Pair this with a max W, FF. Also, with Trinity Force, if you're really snowballing, the champion is even more insane than with Divine Sunderer. Of course, if you're not snowballing, like it's a pretty even lane, or you're behind, or you're against a champion with a lot of HP, even if you are snowballing, you can go Divine Sunderer, right, because of the HP shred in this. But Triforce has actually unlocked Jax, and it's not getting nerfed in 13.13. I still really can't believe that. Like, it's one of the things that's making so many champions broken, and unfortunately, some of the champions are actually getting nerfed because of it. Like, it's not their fault, it's just the item is making them. It's just the fact that Trinity Force is like steroids. Like, they need to take away the drug rather than actually killing, like the people or champions using them. Yeah, anyway, Jax is number 1. Second top laner, very similar to Jax. This is Fiora. Similar in the sense of, well, maybe in terms of like playstyle and in terms of 1v1ing, they're very good champions. They scale very well. Their laning phase is still really good. They can go Divine Sunderer. You can even go Trinity Force on Fiora. You can also go other items like Stride Breaker. If you're into a ranged top laner and a ranged composition, the slow is going to be really useful. Even if you're against a melee champion, it can be good. The extra attack damage it now has from a couple of patches ago. So you've got 60 AD. Once you actually jump into the enemy top laner with the slow and the extra attack damage, getting your vitals off therefore is easier, and getting a kill is therefore, well, just a high percentage of getting it, right? So Fiora and Jax are both here. I really don't know how they're not getting hit, because I think both of them are just innately broken. And yeah, but that's going to start the countdown, guys. Jax and Fiora. Let's go. Moving into the jungle, we have 3 champions, and 2 of these are getting buffed. Now, before I get into those champions, the first champion to talk about is Rengar. Now for Rengar, I'm really surprised he's not getting nerfed. His items, Essence Reaver, might be getting hit, so if you rush an Essence Reaver, to be honest, you can just rush a Duskblade, bro. That's really all you need. Essence Reaver after this is definitely a nice spike, and you'll still be dealing damage with this item, but Rengar, I'm just amazed he's not getting nerfed, man. Just like I mentioned for Fiora and Jax, I think Rengar, just his kit, it is so annoying to play against. He has one of the highest ban rates in the entire game across every single elo. You know why? Because people are sick of playing against this fed champion. Like, in terms of his kit, he's got so much going for him. It's so hard to stop this guy. He's strong at every stage of a game. Maybe late game is harder to make work right in higher reloads because people will use sweepers and ward, etc. And just be aware that a jungler is on the enemy team. But yeah, generally speaking, man, the stats back this up. Rengar has to be here. Now, the 2 champions getting buffed who are also on this countdown in the jungle, the first is Lee Sin. Lee Sin is getting some massive buffs, guys. So Lee Sin, for your Q, in terms of the Q, the first part you throw out, and then the second part, when you jump to the champion and deal more damage, both of these are getting buffed, man. Yeah, like the actual damage here. Now, apparently, the base damage buff that they were going to go with is getting pulled from the patch, and they're just increasing the AD ratio here. If that is the case, maybe he won't be a top 10 champion, but I'm just putting him here to really put him out there that he is going to be so much better with this, and it might even open up builds where you go a lot of attack damage and maybe even lethality. Like, you'll deal so much damage, right, with the extra AD ratio, especially later into a game. So your scaling is going to be there, because that's really where Lee Sin starts to fall off, even though he's still decent late game. But yeah, if the base damages as well that they had in here go through, you would be dealing 20 extra damage in an overall combo. That is insane early game, man. And if Lee Sin gets going, it's going to be very hard to stop, especially in higher reloads, right? Or especially if you can just play the champion and you can jungle well. Again, we can teach you how to do just that in snowball games like nothing else. Now, second jungler getting changed, and the last jungler here, guys, this is Nidalee. And Nidalee is getting some surprise buff. I don't know why, bro, she's getting buffed here, but her base movement speed is increasing by 5. And you might be like, oh, movement speed going up by 5. Who cares? Bro, it's important. I don't care what anyone says. You can meme movement speed, man. This is a really important buff in terms of, just breaking the game. I think Nidalee was already busted. She's banned in 50% of games in high reloads because she's just that oppressive. She has no bad matchups in the jungle, I swear. You can beat anyone if you're very good at this champion. And for her to get just another buff on top of the armor buff she got not long ago, base armor per level, man, what are they smoking, bro, in that balanced team? I get they're all from NA, but man, I just don't understand what's going on. Buff some other champions who aren't played. We're buffing Lee Sin and Nidalee. champions who have played a lot and still in a fine position, like Lee Sin might be a little bit underpowered, but if you can play the champion, he's still like, you know, an even champion. Nidalee, though, is so busted, like if I expected changes, they would be nerfs, but they're buffs. Let's go, man. Someone on the balance team really wants to get to like plat 4. Anyway, moving on. We're going into the mid lane here. Psych, no, we're not. We don't have any mid laners, guys, on this countdown because Annie and Nico, the strongest 2 mid laners, are both getting nerfed. Now, honestly, like, I could put Nico here, and I will just mention her, because the original changes were to nerf her ultimate, so it breaks Disguise a little bit earlier, and I even, like, memed it in our last video saying, how is that going to change Nico being OP? Like, no one plays against her thinking, oh my god, like, imagine if she broke her Disguise half a second earlier. Doesn't matter, right? But what they are nerfing is actually the Q cooldown is increasing, okay, to a scaling from 9 seconds to 7 seconds, no longer a flat 7, and your on-hit damage from your W is also changing. So if you are going, like, an on-hit build, maybe even Static Shift, Nash's Tooth is good on Nico, so that build is getting nerfed as well. I think the Q cooldown nerf as well is actually legit. Makes your laning phase a little bit weaker, so she could easily be here, guys, and she still will be very strong, but I haven't actually put her here because I think every other champion on this countdown is amazing and better than Nico, okay? So yeah, moving into the bot lane, we have 4 AD carries. That's right, AD carries. You guys should be rejoicing, man, at the moment, because there haven't been many patches in recent times where you've had 4 champions giga busted. The first of these is Draven. I understand, guys, Essence Reaver is getting nerfed, but guess what? Why are you going Essence, bro? As a Sheen item. Go Trinity Force. Legit, it is the most busted thing maybe in the game, Draven with Trinity Force. Of course, you have to be able to play the champion. And if you can do that, you are an absolute powerhouse. Like I was saying before, I already think like Draven is probably an AD carry on steroids anyway. Now you're adding Trinity Force into the mix. Bro, you're overdosing like big time when you play this. It is unreal. Check the stats for me, guys, in every single elo. It's just an amazing combination, and that's why Draven with Trinity Force has to be here. And by the way, guys, if you have any comments and if you play these champions, let us know down below what you think about this list. Now, another AD carry who loves a bit of Trinity Force, mate. We're not talking about Ezreal. We're not talking about Zeri. We're talking about Ashe. Kind of like under the radar, I reckon, right? But if you guys check the stats in every single elo, Ashe with Trinity Force is actually like pretty on par with Draven. She's a very good laner. She's a very good all-around champion, brings utility. She's good in lane, like I said. The W spam, even the buffs like recently, right, to your W. In terms of the base damage, this is made up better. And when you pair this with Ghost, because the Ghost nerfs aren't actually, well, they've actually just been pulled from the patch now, so it's still going to be on the same cooldown. This is great news for an Ashe AD carry. The kite you have, especially with Trinity Force, right, the 3/4 strike passive, now lasting 5 seconds. All Riot have to do here, though, is just add some sort of like ranged nerf to it. So if you're a ranged champion using Trinity Force, which is meant to be like a top lane item or a bruiser fightery item, that's all they have to do. But yeah, like someone, honestly, guys, like just wants to inflate their elo before they actually nerf this. But yeah, Ashe and Draven are the 2 Trinity Force abusers in the AD carry department. The next AD carry, if you want to play someone who's more all in, I know Draven's all in, but even more all in than Draven is Duskblade Samira. I know Duskblade, like the interaction with Samira's ultimate got bug fixed, but this is really just based off stats, man. Like the untargetability for a champion like Samira who's getting in there is amazing. And this is also a big reason why, like Rengar, who we've mentioned, you've got other assassins, like maybe even Zed's pretty good in the majority of elos because of how Duskblade works now. The extra damage you're getting in earlier based on the enemy's HP because of the buffs, it's really, really good. And Samira, because engaged supports are back on the menu. We're seeing Blitzcrank, we're seeing Pyke, we're seeing Rel, Lulu, Milio, Yumi, all those were nerfed a couple of patches ago. So engaged supports are really flavor of the month, flavor of the patch. So that's why Samira's here as well, because they work so well with her passive and stuff, and diving in, they provide the CC and the foundation you need to pop off and get pentakills. The other champion here, guys, is an AD carry, but you're actually playing this guy as an AP carry in the bot lane. This, and it's related to what I just said about Samira, so lots of engage, right, in close range fights. This is Karthus. So if you guys see a Draven, if you see a Samira, guys, Karthus is unreal. The W that kind of like encompasses both champions and of course your E. Draven, like if he's good, will space your E a lot more than a Samira will. Samira will just dive onto you, right? But Draven is still going to find it difficult because he doesn't have Caitlyn's range and he has to get close to you to auto attack, of course. That's what you want as Karthus. And because of the engage meta, right, you actually like people engaging into you. What does engage mean? Close range. You can't engage from 50 meters away, right? Yes, all right. If you land a Lux Q, Morgana Q, I guess they're engages. But you get what I'm saying. It's not an Alistair WQ, a Nautilus Q. It's not a Pyke engage. It's not a Rel into a, you know, WQ these days. Hopefully that makes sense, guys, as far as the AD carries go. Again, any questions, any thoughts, leave them down below in the comment section. Now, the last champion to talk about, guys, is one of those engaged supports. And she's actually getting changed in 13-13. And what's pretty much happening for Rel, who is the final champion here, is that, well, you're just getting generally changed here, but the most important point here, I'm not going to read through all the notes and, you know, say them out loud like pro guides or something, but pretty much the most important thing here you guys have to take away from this is that the CC is still exactly the same. It is literally still exactly the same, bro. So when you go in, you know, like nothing's going to change. You're still going to be Rel. And for her to have like a 55, 56% win rate and Master and above across the world, bro, like I don't think champion adjustments are going to like, you know, nerf her enough for her not to be Giga broken still. So those are the 10 most broken champions, guys, for patch 13.13. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like down below. And to make sure you don't miss any of our future content, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. I will see you in the next video. This has been Coach Jigs. Peace.